Welcome to Westbourne Construction, The Orchards, Norwest. This project consists of 583 residential apartments across 6 buildings with a community center and recreational facilities over 2 basement levels and associated landscape works. Refer to our key personnel on site if you require any assistance on site. Site facilities to be addressed on site. Working hours. The normal operating hours of works on the project are 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Saturday. No works are to occur outside of these normal hours unless approval has been provided by the Westbourne project manager. Westbourne supervisor must be on site. Swims to identify working out of normal hours. First aider on site. Adequate lighting if working in the darkness. This applies to moving plant and machinery and delivery of materials. Westbourne policies. Westbourne have a number of policies that show its commitment towards health and safety, environmental, quality, return to work and rehabilitation. Plans. Westbourne has a number of plans in place. WHS plan, environmental plan, quality plan, emergency management plan. These are available for you to read. Legislation. The principal legislation relevant to this project is Work Health and Safety Act 2011, NSW, and Work Health and Safety Regulation 2017, NSW. Codes of practice. Australian standards are also relevant. Copies of legislation and codes are available from site office. Every person conducting a business or undertaking must ensure, as far as reasonably practicable, the health and safety of workers and other persons. A PCBU must ensure, as far as reasonably practicable, a work environment is without risk to health and safety. Safe plant and structures. Safe systems of work, safe use, handling, and storage of plant structures and substances. Adequate welfare facilities for workers' information, training, instruction, and supervision. Monitoring workers' health and workplace conditions to prevent illness or injury. Workers must take reasonable care of their own health and safety. Take reasonable care their acts or omissions do not affect the health and safety of other persons. Comply with reasonable instructions from the PCBU. Cooperate with reasonable policy or procedure of the PCBU relating to health and safety. Site safety rules are clearly displayed in the offices, curb sheds, and other public areas. All personnel are to ensure they read and comply with these rules at all times. PPE requirements. Safety helmet, high-vis vest, top, steel cap boots. Task-specific PPE might be required for task-specific activities. Nurse call. When a worker or visitor suddenly needs medical aid, a nurse call system is used to trigger the alert and notify personnel about the emergency. In this instance, it can be easy to panic, particularly if the scene is confronting. A wireless nurse call system is simple to use with a single call button that pushes a notification to the rest of the network that help is required. Westbourne first aiders are aware of the location of each nurse call station. Once the nurse call is pressed, wait at that location. Evacuation alarm. The project is equipped with a wireless emergency notification system. The signal is manually or remotely activated in the event of an evacuation emergency or drill and sends a loud siren to numerous points scattered throughout the project. When this signal is heard, all personnel are to make their way to the project's muster point for further instruction. The muster point is highlighted on the following slide. Emergency preparedness. Westbourne have procedures for various emergency scenarios. These procedures are initiated by the Chief Warden and implemented by Westbourne emergency wardens, first aid officers. Those responsible are seen below and also posted on project notice boards and crib sheds. Risk management. SWIMS. Safe work method statement. SWIMS must be in place for every task. Reviewed by Westbourne. High-risk activities, plant and materials must be identified. Must be site-specific. Workers must be consulted and sign on to the SWIMS. SWIMS must identify the hazard list, the control measure to eliminate or reduce risk, nominate responsible person to implement controls. No SWIMS in place equals no work to start. Incident reporting. First aid. All incidents are to be recorded and reported to your manager as soon as practicable. Muscle strain. Sprain injuries are to be reported immediately. Research indicates that the sooner you get treatment for a muscle injury, the sooner you will feel better. All near misses or similar are to be reported to the site manager as soon as possible. Do not disturb the scene of an incident unless authorized by site management. First aid facilities are clearly labeled and a nurse call available. A list of first aiders for the project can be found on the notice boards. No person is to leave the site for medical treatment unless they are accompanied and the safety advisor has been informed. Investigation will be carried out and suitable controls implemented. The incident scene is not to be disturbed until all the investigations have been completed. Your supervisor must be notified immediately of all incidents, injuries, dangerous occurrences, near misses, and environmental incidents. Visitors. All visitors must sign the visitor registration book at the project office or online and complete a visitor's induction. Construction's hazards. Falls from height, electricity, mobile plant, traffic and vehicle movements, hazardous chemicals, excavations and trenches, services, underground and overhead, noise, manual handling, slips, trips and falls. What can be done to maintain safety? All services must be treated as live at all times. Permits to work are required from Westbourne before starting work on site. Excavation and trenching, harness work, hot works, confined space, services, isolation, formwork, stripping, cutting and coring. Permits are to be site-specific and held by each and every operative. All operators and spotters must undertake work in accordance with Westbourne permits and limitations at all times. SWMS must be read, understood and signed off before commencing work. Working at heights must be done strictly as per the hierarchy of controls. Carry out the work from the ground or on a solid construction. Where this is not practicable, the risk of falls must be minimized by providing a fall prevention device. This includes a secure fence, edge protection, working platforms and covers, or providing a work positioning system, or providing a fall arrest system. Work positioning and fall arrest systems are a last resort. Additional training requirements apply. Scaffolding. All scaffolding will be erected by a competent person and have a SCAF tag serving as a certificate that the structure is safe to work on. There is to be strictly no erecting, altering, or dismantling of scaffold components unless it is done under Westbourne instruction. Subcontractors, other than the engaged scaffolding contractor, caught altering scaffold will be subject to immediate dismissal. Mobile scaffolds will be built in accordance with manufacturers' suppliers' instructions. Vehicle movements. Access to site is only permitted using the designated entry and exit point, and under no circumstances are you to enter or leave the site through any other point such as private property. Delivery vehicles are to load, unload in designated construction zones or an excluded area. All reversing vehicles are to be guided until stop. Equipment used in the interest of personnel and vehicle separation must be adhered to at all times. Vehicle movements. Access to site is only permitted using the designated entry and exit point, and under no circumstances are you to enter or leave the site through any other point such as private property. Delivery vehicles are to load, unload in designated construction zones or an excluded area. All reversing vehicles are to be guided until stop. Equipment used in the interest of personnel and vehicle separation must be adhered to at all times. Slips, trips, falls. Good housekeeping must be maintained in the workplace at all times. This can be achieved by placing waste products in the bins provided and stacking materials. Waste materials must be cleaned up as the mess is made. Please clean up your own mess. Amenities, lunchroom, toilets, and showers must be kept clean at all times. Electricity. Power tools and leads must be inspected and tagged 3 monthly in accordance with relevant standards. All leads must be either elevated at least 2 meters above the work surface or routed in a safe manner. Leads must never be strung on metal objects. Use insulated stands or hooks. Leads must not be joined together, piggybacked. All tools and leads must be protected by a residual current device, RCD. Hazardous chemicals. A safety data sheet, SDS, must be made available for all chemicals and substances brought onto site. Copies of SDSs must be readily available. Materials classified as hazardous must be risk assessed. Users trained in safe use and handling of the material as per SDS. A copy will be attached to the SWMS. Chemicals must be stored in their original container and only decant for immediate use. Spill kits must be available. Noise. When required, hearing protection must be worn. These may include muffs, plugs. An easy guide is when you are 1 meter apart and are required to speak in a louder than normal voice to be heard over plant. Hearing protection is required. Drugs, alcohol, and smoking. The consumption or sale of drugs or alcohol on the project is strictly prohibited. The Westbourne drug and alcohol policy is displayed on the notice boards for all to see. Drug and alcohol testing may be conducted at Westbourne discretion and applies to Field right pointing pointer workers, field right pointing pointer supervisors, field right pointing pointer contractors, field right pointing pointer visitors. Occasions for testing. Planned random. For cause. Smoking is not permitted in enclosed, unnaturally ventilated areas.